A lover as a solution. As an escape. As a cure. Or just a perfect excuse? Because at some point, someone gives you what you don't have at home. And you start to wonder, is this really the answer? Or just a well-packaged lie? The feeling of being valued. The feeling of being wanted again. But the real question is it real, or just an illusion that lasts until it doesn't? Hey everyone! Is a lover just an excuse, maybe the love you don't have at home, or just ego? Maybe sex. Maybe something else. Maybe it doesn't matter, or maybe it does. Let's start. Is a lover really a solution? Maybe it's a sin, if you believe in that. Maybe it's guilt that just sits somewhere in the background and never really goes away. We all know love is big, huge. But when it breaks, what comes next? Divorce, or a lover? Maybe a coworker. Maybe someone close. Sometimes even a best friend. And things like that don't just happen out of nowhere. They build. Slowly. At first, it doesn't feel wrong. It feels easy. Normal. Like nothing serious is happening. Just a conversation. Just a coffee. Just someone who listens a little more than they should. And that's enough. Because it doesn't feel like you're doing something bad. It feels like you're finally getting something you were missing. And that's where it gets dangerous. So what is the truth? The truth is, like always, somewhere in the middle. I have my reasons. You have yours. Everyone has their own version of the story. Real reasons maybe don't even exist. Maybe it's ego. Maybe pride. Maybe revenge. Maybe just a moment of weakness you didn't stop. But one thing is real. No one wants to admit it. Almost never. And maybe that silence becomes the solution. We look at everything. Every detail. Every situation. Maybe you'll see yourself in this. I know I will. People say every secret comes out one day. I don't believe that. That's just something people like to say. Buddha said only 3 things cannot be hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. But even the sun disappears behind clouds. The moon too. And the truth, sometimes it's not about hiding it. Sometimes it's just about never saying it. And then, time does the rest. Let's go into this a bit deeper. Have you ever found yourself in something like this? A lover doesn't just happen. You don't just fall into it. You either look for it, or you get noticed. Nothing here is random. Think about it like this. Your partner works somewhere. Maybe a bar, maybe a store, maybe any job where people come and go all day. How many people approach them? How many smiles, how many small talks, how many let's grab a coffee sometime? A lot. Now imagine that, every single day. Is it really possible that every single time, they say no? Of course it is. If the person is loyal. If they're in love. If they respect what they have, they don't go for coffee. Not even something small like that. And that's where people lie to themselves. Because it's just coffee sounds harmless. Sounds normal. But what happens after that? Is it really just part of life, or is it something already missing inside? And this is not about men or women. It's the same for everyone. Temptation is everywhere. More than ever. Apps. Messages. DMs. One swipe, and you have options. Endless options. You can literally write. Looking for someone discreet, same situation, no drama, and someone answers. And just like that, you connect. Feels good, right? You talk. You click. Same problems. Same story. She says her husband doesn't listen. Doesn't care. They live together, but it feels like roommates. No real connection. No real intimacy. You listen, and something feels familiar. Because you've heard that story before. Or maybe, you lived it. Let's be real for a second. You're trying. You really are. You do things for your partner, small things, big things, you put in effort, but it feels like nothing lands. Like it doesn't matter. You start feeling invisible. And then you notice something. The phone is always there, in the hand, a small smile, quick reactions, and then silence. You ask, what are you doing? Nothing. Just scrolling. TikTok. Instagram. Whatever. Sounds normal. But it doesn't feel normal. So you watch a bit more, and that's when you start seeing it. Distance. Not just physical, real distance. From you. From everything. And that's the moment you don't want to admit, because deep down, you already know. This is not random. This is not just scrolling. You just don't have proof. And here's the part people don't like to hear. By the time you start noticing, you're already late. Because in their head, something already changed. They're still there. Physically. But mentally, they checked out. And you? You're still trying to fix something that already broke. Maybe you're just the safe option. The backup. The just in case this doesn't work out version. And nothing even happened yet, at least not officially. But the truth? It already did. Long before you noticed. So where is the problem? Who is it really on? And more important, why does this even happen? Most people will immediately point at the partner, and maybe that's the easiest answer, but it's rarely that simple because in a lot of cases the real problem doesn't even start in the relationship, it starts inside you. You get used to things. To the same person, the same routine, the same conversations that once meant something, and over time they slowly lose weight, they become normal, expected, almost invisible. And that's where the shift happens. Maybe the connection fades, maybe the sex becomes routine or disappears, maybe you just feel ignored without any real reason you can explain, like you're there but you don't exist the way you used to. And somewhere in all that, a thought appears. You don't say it out loud, you don't even want to admit it, but it's there, the feeling that maybe you could have more, maybe you deserve more, maybe this isn't what you imagined. And once that thought is there, everything starts to change, not suddenly, not in one moment, but slowly, in the way you look at your partner, in the way you react, in the things you notice and the things you stop noticing. You start comparing without even realizing it, imagining different situations, different people, different versions of yourself, and that's where the line starts to blur. And the hardest part to admit is this. In the background, there's always a voice that makes it easier for you. It tells you that it's not really your fault, that if things were better at home, you wouldn't even think like this, that if your partner paid more attention, understood you more, things would be different. And maybe that's true. But maybe it's not. Because at some point, no matter what the situation is, it stops being something that just happened and it becomes something you allow. A choice. And that's the part nobody likes to say out loud. Because the moment you see it as a choice, everything after that is on you, not on them, not on the situation, not on the past. On you. Cheating was always there. It's nothing new. People talk about it like it's some kind of secret, but not really a secret. Don't tell anyone. This stays between us. And somehow, it never really stays there. Because the truth is, very few people will keep that for you. Not because they want to hurt you, but because people don't celebrate your happiness, they react to it. And sometimes, your chaos becomes something interesting to them. And then you ask yourself, what's the point of all this? Why cheat at all? Why not try to fix what you already have? Why not wake up something that once was real, something that had meaning, something that actually worked at one point. Because it did. There was something there. At the beginning it was different. Stronger. More alive. You remember it. The attraction, the energy, the way everything felt easier, the way you actually wanted each other without thinking about it. So where did that go? Did it disappear, or did you just stop paying attention to it? And that's the question most people avoid. Because it's easier to look for something new than to fix something old. It's easier to leave, or to escape for a moment, than to stay and actually deal with what's broken. But is that really a solution? Or just something temporary that feels good until it becomes the same thing all over again? Because that's the part nobody wants to think about. What happens when this new person becomes routine too? Do you go again? Do you look for something else, someone else? Or do you finally stop and face what you've been avoiding the whole time? I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not giving advice. I'm just asking the question most people don't want to answer. Before you crossed that line, did you really do everything you could to save what you already had? Or did you give up, before you even tried?